Oh no, live chat is not available. How can that be? Well, hey, alright, it is what it is. No live chat, I guess. That's unfortunate. Okay. Alright, hey, good morning, and welcome to yet another episode of Red Stone Lapis Lazuli. Hi, it is I, your host, Pogo Kiddo. We're gonna try the transition. I don't believe it's gonna work, but we're gonna try anyways. I wonder why it's not showing my stuff. It's not letting me do live stream, live chat. Can I refresh it? What if I refresh it? Hey, now it's working. Oh, okay, hey. Now it's working. Destiny? Yes, okay. Alright, I'm gonna try to do the transition. That's always tricky. Java, there it is. Back to game. Yes, right? No, I don't see a thing. There it is, It's there. It hasn't crashed. Fantastic. You see my frames per second and everything. Do I even care anymore, right? Do I even care? I'm gonna take a nap. So, welcome to my show. Thanks for tuning in. There's like nobody there, but that's okay. The future people, thanks for tuning in. Future people. Damn, dude, this is like hitting my frames per second hard. Thanks for tuning in. What can I discuss today? Well, there's quite a few things that have been going on. But I'm like terrible at keeping track of all of them unless I like actively write them down. And it's hard to be in two places at once, because that's essentially what I'm doing when I'm playing Minecraft. I'm trying to be in two different places at once. I'm trying to be in my Minecraft world at the same time I'm in like the political world or whatever, another layer of abstraction above me. Like, so I got one down below me and I got one up above me. I'm trying to navigate at the same time. It's really difficult. So I tend to like slack off in one or the other, one realm or the other. I can't be super productive in both realms at the same time. I don't have the capacity. But yeah, so before I get too far up out of the gate and go astray, I've been making a village, basically making a village, making houses and stuff, preparing housing for my dudes. Who are my dudes? The people who I save up there. Because if you recall, not all the monsters that come out of the box are evil. Some of them are just, I guess, confused. And so I'm here to save them, because with a potion of weakness, just a weakness, right? Just weakness, not to kill them. I'm not trying to kill them. I don't want to hurt them. It just like lowers their defenses. After a potion of weakness, I then lay knowledge on them, and it transforms them over time into a villager. And I'm like, yay, let's save you and put you in a house. And then I got tired of running all the time, so I made this train line. I can't show you because I'm like down here. Here, I guess I'll do this. It's a simple train line. It just connects into the same water stream that was already there. It was already there. All I had to do was just configure it a bit. But yes, that is the way up, and then the way down is right next to it. It uses this as a guide to make sure it lands here. You take no fall damage, and then you continue on your merry little way. This detector rail is there because this rail line wasn't cooperating. I'm sure I could have done something different to get this to work, but whatever. So I have to like invert the signal so that when I pass over it changes to go straight and not into that wall. Anyways, okay, there's that part I've been working on. Oh shit, this way. It makes no difference. Very nice, very nice. And then yeah, it comes up on this rail, and then it just goes to the exit point. And then when you get back on it, it sends you back down that long way, all the way down there to continue back on the way you came. So yeah, that's nice, right? That worked out. That's nice. I got this guy here. He's pretty happy. Yeah, I guess I didn't do all that much. Well, these houses take time, which is annoying because I'm thinking like, shouldn't I just make generic housing for them to live in? But like, yeah, I got these 3 houses here, and each house has like 2 people living in them. Generally, these bigger ones have 3. But yeah, I got all these houses going. Right? How nice, how nice. So that villagers aren't locked into a 1x1 square. Hey, what's up? Frosty Fox Leeden. Frosty Fox Leeden. That is an all-purpose creeper farm, or not creeper farm, all-purpose mob farm with no spiders, no spider spawns. It's a design I took from Wattles. It's his mob farm design. I just changed the way the water flows so that the drop shaft, instead of being 3 wide, 3x3, it's 2x2. So it makes it easier to collect the mobs and XP and items. And then it goes into an item sorter. So yeah, basically it's for experience points. But I mean, I like the gunpowder and other stuff I get. So yeah, so I created this. I'm like, I'm trying to treat villagers as if they have the same rights as I do. Ha. And if I wouldn't like something done to me, I probably ought not to do it to them. And I'm just playing it out. I mean, sure, this is Minecraft. I have the capacity to do whatever I want. But since I have that capacity, why not try to, like, you know, reflect certain certain values. Yeah, this is a general purpose mob farm. It's 5 layers. I made it 5 layers. It was 3 layers, but then I added some. So yeah, basically it's how a mob farm, you would imagine a mob farm to be. That's it. It's got spawning platforms and then a piece of carpet in the middle to stop spider spawns. Oh my. The cloud layer. It needs to be a little bit higher. I can't see nothing. Like, at all. Like, here, let me fix that. That's scary. Ah! Like, what do you mean I can't see where I just came from? Here. Atmosphere. Clouds. 224. Let's make it a little bit higher. So yeah, I'm using Rethinking voxels. Pretty baller shader pack. And I'm using the mod Distant Horizons. So I think it's almost necessary to have Distant Horizons, because you can't really be a part of like your world if you can't like see yourself in it. And when the fog is like right in your face, it's terrible. Like you don't feel like the grand vistas, like how big the world is. You can't appreciate it. Yeah, Distant Horizons is absolutely necessary. Yeah, right? Isn't this great? Isn't Distant Horizons great? Like, I figured out like how to get bamboo by climbing up here and then looking and then noticing how those trees over there look different from all the other trees. And I'm like, that's like a jungle tree. Those are jungle trees. That's a jungle tree. That's a jungle there. So I can go over there and get bamboo. I like mapped out my route and everything from using distant horizons. Like you can't do that in regular Minecraft, right? I mean, because the fog wall is like right there. You can't see anything. It's terrible. Yeah, no, you need to have distant horizons for Minecraft. So much so that I was even saying Mojang should just buy them out. Say, hey guy, like be a part of our team and work for Mojang now. And like we're gonna purchase your distant horizon mod. Because it's amazing. It just changes so much the world. So anyways, yeah. So this is a general purpose mob farm. Mobs just fall off the trapdoors and fall into a water stream, which takes them to a center thing, and then that mechanism just opens and closes the door. Because when I want to save a villager, because eventually I'll find a zombie villager, so I close it off, and then clean out the ones I don't want, so only the zombie villager. Yeah, the glass is tinted. It has to be tinted. The whole thing is tinted glass or solid blocks. But yeah, so and over here I have a separate chamber with a turtle egg. So I just press the button and the door opens momentarily for the mob to wander through, and they'll fall through these trap doors, and you can't tell, but there's a water pool underneath here, and that just positions them correctly so I can put them into a minecart where I cure them. So yeah, it's a nice system. But that's how I populate my villages, right? I don't want to have to go steal someone, like a villager from another village. That's terrible to go steal someone away from their life. Did you hear? So, did you hear about, like, look at this sunset. Did you hear about the prisoner exchange? Like, so Russia took a bunch of hostages. And Russia uses those hostages to extort Western countries to release their criminals for Russia. So part of the look at that sunset. Oh my god, that's awesome. Part of the deal, the prisoner exchange deal, was that Russia was to receive 2 deep cover spies. Deep cover spies that were living in Spain. They were so deep cover that they even had kids. And the 2 kids they had did not know that their parents were Russian spies. They never knew. They never knew. And then one day, their parents and these 2 kids, they get on a plane and start flying away. And they grew up in the EU, thinking that they were, part of the European Union. And they started flying, and while they're in the plane, they were told that, no, actually, you're Russian, we're Russians, and we were doing an op for Russia in Spain, and now we're going back to Russia. You're actually Russian. You're a Russian citizen. You're not an EU citizen. You're a Russian citizen. Imagine the brain fucking that would be. Oh my god. Like it would like destroy a person. Like that kid. I don't know how that kid's gonna handle that, because they're not a young. One kid was young, like I don't know, pre-teen. One girl was pre-teen, but the other girl looked like she was a teenager, and that looks like it's gonna hurt real bad for that teenager. To find out that she thought she was like part of the free world, but no, actually, she was a tool for a dictatorship empire. Like, how fucked up is that? I don't think this works on Bedrock. This is a Java farm. Waddles makes Java stuff. Mob spawning and spider spawning work differently. In I mean, I don't know. I'd have to watch the video again to see if it works in Bedrock. This farm. This works on Java. I don't know if it works on Bedrock. So anyways, yeah, that's kind of funny. And this farm works really good. Yeah, oh my god, that would like wreck a person's head. Actually, stop. I got one right now. See, there's that guy is a zombie villager. I can save him. I can save you. So, he's fixated on that egg, I'm sure. Maybe not. There he goes. So he's going for the egg. And he fell into the water. So he's in a water pool down there. On this lower level. So I have over here this box with potions of weakness and golden apples. I don't know if this farm works on Bedrock, but this is how you get the villager out of the water. You shove him into a corner where he's constantly being pushed into a corner, but make sure the corner is glass, so it's a transparent block. So, and then I just have a dispenser here. I send a cart through and put him in the cart, and now he's just chilling there. And I throw on him a potion of weakness. So now he's weak, and I give him knowledge. I force feed him knowledge, and now he's tweaking. But he'll figure it out once he internalizes that knowledge. I never use command blocks. This whole thing is survival. I'm in survival. Yeah, that's a whole other game when you're using command blocks. So it works pretty good, right? Like, it's not bad. And you have to remember, I'm running OBS on top of playing Minecraft with these shaders. And I'm still getting like 60 frames per second. So I have an item sorter right here. I mean, it's just a basic item sorter, right? Basic item sorter. And there's redstone dust up there. Basic item sorter, just to like separate out the stuff I want. And it makes a lot of gunpowder and arrows and bones and gunpowder. Yeah, hoppers are expensive, you know. And I don't have an iron farm either, right? Why don't I have an iron farm? Because in order to make an iron farm, you have to have villagers in constant fear. They have to be constantly terrified to constantly pump out the tanks, basically. They have to be terrified so you can constantly pump out the tanks. And I'm like, that's not cool, man. Like, it's not cool to like subject people to PS post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. There we go. It's not cool to subject people to PTSD. See, so Frosty Foxleeden says, me and my friend was mining for some diamonds, and my friend died from air. Yeah, bug rock, dude. Like, that's why I like to play on Java, because there's no bugs. Or there's much fewer bugs. But you have to kind of be a computer guru in order to play Java Minecraft. Especially if you want to play with these mods. But these mods are almost necessary. They make it look so good. So good! Alright, here, watch when I go back. Ha ha ha! Fall down. There's my base. But I just think Java Minecraft is superior. just a better... Ta-da! Now I'm back in my base. And yeah, I have my mines down there too. Ha 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 ha. I have my farms going. Like sugarcane farm for paper. Making paper. I need farmers to live in my village so I can trade them for crops. And that way I can get unlimited emeralds. This is the basic collection system. Yeah, and then I have a basic cactus farm. And it works pretty good. It just uses water to transport and glass to cut. Yay, how nice. Okay. So, you have to know, Miss Foxy Fox Leeden. The show is Minecrafty, but it's also about what's going on in the world, right? Because like there's two different things going on at the same time. And technically the same place. You just have to be able to move your consciousness from one level to the other. So right now I'm in like Minecraft. But I can also talk about the stuff going on in the world, which is like really important. Like at least for Americans. Because what happens in the United States affects the rest of the world. So it's a little bit different if you're not an American. Like so like America is a country of contradictions. Of two ideas that cancel each other out. And so like what expression you get out of them is kind of wrecked. So on one hand, the United States is facilitating, making easier genocide in Israel and Gaza by providing offensive weapons for the Israeli military to kill and destroy Gaza so that it's not inhabitable anymore by the people who live there, and they will be forced to leave. And that's the desired goal of the Israeli government, because they are a settler colonial nation. What that means is that their existence depends on settling other people's land and colonizing it with their own people and displacing the natives that live there. The United States is also a settler colonial nation. Hopefully it has and really the purpose is to redeem itself, the settler colonial nation, because it has to prove to the world that you can move away from settler colonialism. Because settler colonialism is inherently bad. Like, you have to steal people and kill them to take their land in order for your people, your tribe, whatever, to live. And that's wrong. So if like the beginning of the origin of the United States is steeped in badness. Like, it's built on slavery and genocide. the origins. So the United States has to prove to itself and to the world that it is able to redeem itself, to reform itself, so that it's no longer an agent of colonialism and imperialism and slavery and genocide. It has to prove that it can move past that its past. It can learn from its past and not repeat the same behaviors as before. So one group within the United States wants to continue the mistakes of the past because it accrues them power. They get power by reinforcing the behaviors of the past. So here, I can go mining for diamonds. That's easy. One group wants to continue the old bad patterns, and another group wants to evolve past that and move forward in both time and space. Whereas the other group wants to go backwards, go back to an imaginary past that never existed. So they want to make it. Alright, I've already got 4 directions dug out here. Which one should I go in? Which direction? Let's just go here. Okay, so... Oh wait, I need more torches, man, obviously. If I'm gonna go just run to the darkness. So that's coming to a head. Right now, in the United States. And it's gonna be borne out in our election. Ooh, slimes are good. I need slime balls. I need slime balls to kill them for their slime. So, yeah, there's 2 sides playing out, and it really matters a great deal who comes out on top of this contest, because one group represents fascism and the other group represents democracy. Now, it's not perfect. It's not a perfect democracy, not at all, right? It's got issues, like, but it is superior to fascism, which is being offered, which is what is offered by the other side, the other team. They want to do fascism, and I can guarantee you, I can guarantee you, they would be, the other team, the Donald Trump fascism team, would be very, very bad for the world. Because they would team up with Donald Trump wants to team up with China and North Korea and let me think. Russia, of course. So, I don't know. I'm talking, but why don't we listen to what some really smart person says? Like, I'm not saying I'm dumb. What I'm saying, though, is perhaps someone else could articulate better the point that I'm trying to make. how dark that is. Who might be able to articulate that better? I would have to stop running in the darkness. Like, I'm gonna run forever, I think. But that's okay, right? I can just turn somewhere and be like, yo, I'm gonna go this direction now. Why don't I do that? Because this is like really long. This might go forever. This is a good spot just to like up and turn. Oh wait, look, that's the end. That's the end. Yeah, this is the end. I stopped for some reason. Alright, well can I keep going? Yes, I can. Oh, it's hard to see because of the voxelation of the player. Alright. Yeah, much better. I do know the flying boats in the inn. That's where you get the elytra. I have not been to the end yet, so I don't have any elytra. For slime balls, if that's what you want, you have to find a slime chunk. And the way I find the slime chunk is through Chunkbase, an external website. I use an external website, or you could like just notice where slimes tend to spawn, and then try to figure out the chunk borders. It's pretty yeah, complicated for something that's like integral to the game. Like you can't make pistons, slime pistons, without the slime. The slime. I do know the flying boats in the end. So yeah, here, let's go listen to someone who actually knows what they're talking about. Dr. Heather Richardson. She's a professor. She has a PhD in history. And she writes every day. She writes every day a statement about like a summary about what went on that day. And this is what she wrote for August 2nd. And like, I don't know how much it's like permeated. Fosty, it says, I found a shipwreck, but it was floating above the ocean. Yeah, flying shipwreck. Yep, I've seen screenshots of that. Okay, what does Dr. Diamonds. Ha ha ha. Right? This is great stuff. This is good stuff you're about to hear. It's articulated by someone whose job is to explain ideas. So here, check it out. Oh, wait a minute, you can't see. Yeah, there we go. Check it out. What does she say? Today, Aaron C. Davis and Carol D. Lennonig of the Washington Post reported that there is reason to believe that when Trump's 26th campaign was running low on funds, Trump accepted a $10 million injection of cash from Egypt's authoritarian leader, Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. It is against the law to accept direct or indirect financial support from foreign nationals. I gotta like watch the loudness here. From foreign nationals or foreign governments for a political campaign in the United States. So, what does that say? Donald Trump's campaign accepted money from the Egyptian government. Now, do you know who else accepted money from the Egyptian government? Bobby Mendez. Bobby Mendez. He was a Democratic senator who was the chair of the Foreign Relations Department. So he was responsible for making sure that Egypt followed its obligations according to human rights, to uphold human rights. And he got caught accepting a bribe, and he got sentenced to prison, and he's going to lose his he's going to lose his ooh, look at that, that's cool. He's going to lose his what's it called? Seat. So the next part says, in early 2017, CIA officials told Justice Department officials that a confidential informant had told them of such a cash exchange, and those officials handed the matter off to Robert Mueller, the special counsel who was already looking at the links between the 2016 Trump campaign and Russian operatives. So they found out that Donald Trump accepted a bribe from the Egyptian government, and they handed it off to the special counsel Robert Mueller, who was already looking to see if Donald Trump was compromised by foreign entities. Okay, wow. Let's see. FBI agents noted that on September 16th, Trump had met with Sisi when the Egyptian leader was at the UN General Assembly in New York City. So they had a secret meeting. Donald Trump, the campaign, the candidate, and the head of the foreign government of Egypt met, and the foreign government gave Donald Trump $10 million. That's against the law. And they didn't tell anybody about it. After the meeting, Trump broke with U.S. policy to praise Sisi, calling him a, quote, fantastic guy. So right after the meeting, and after Donald Trump got $10 million, he changed all of U.S. policy as a candidate and said, oh yeah, this bad guy is actually a good guy. Okay, next says, Trump's campaign had been dogged with a lack of funds, and his advisors had begged him to put some of his own money into it. He refused until October 28th, when he loaned the campaign $10 million. Wait a minute. An FBI investigation took years to get the records, but Davis and Lennonig reported that in 2019 the FBI learned of a key withdrawal from an Egypt bank. In January 2017, 5 days before Trump took office, an organization linked to Egypt's intelligence service asked a manager at the branch of the state-run National Bank of Egypt to kindly withdraw $9,998,000. $9,998,000, whatever, almost $1 million in U.S. currency. The bundles of $100 bills filled 2 bags and weighed more than 200 pounds. Holy shit. Once in office, Trump embraced Sisi and, in a reversal of U.S. policy, invited him to be one of his first guests at the White House. Quote, I just want to let everyone know, in case there was any doubt, that we are very much behind President al-Sisi, Trump said. So, like, Donald Trump was, like, had literally... Make this smaller. Donald Trump literally took money from a foreign government to help him win the presidential campaign, and then owed the foreign government something in return, and that return was a change in U.S. policy. He changed U.S. policy to help a foreign government, because that foreign government basically bribed him. Like, that's the thing. You gotta understand. It's basically a bribe. But remember that the Supreme Court, I don't know if you remember, but the Supreme Court recently made a ruling that said it was okay to bribe people if you do it before they take office. So the Supreme Court has already ruled that Donald Trump, like, is okay to do this. Which is kind of weird. It's almost like they knew it was going to happen before it happened. But yeah, Donald Trump received $10 million, and then after he was president, he decided to change U.S. policy to help the foreign government. That's crazy. That's crazy. Okay, next. Mueller had gotten that far in pursuit of the connection between Trump and Sisi when he was winding down his investigation of Russian interference in the 2016 election. He handed the Egypt investigation off to the U.S. Attorney's Office in Washington, D.C., where it appears then Attorney General William Barr killed it. So in other words, Donald Trump's Attorney General found out that the Justice Department was on to his bribe, that they were following the connection of the bribe between Egypt and Donald Trump, and it went to Bill Barr, who Donald Trump appointed. Donald Trump is the one who picked Bill Barr. And Bill Barr, once he got the investigation, he killed it. He killed the investigation. He's like, hey, you know how you guys are watching Donald Trump get bribed by Egypt? Why don't you stop watching it? So that's some corruption, dude. Bill Barr's a bad guy. Like, I don't know why he's on television nowadays, because he's like an evil person. He's the outlaw. He's the outlaw Billy Barr. He's the guy who covered up the Iran-Contra affair. I never got along to that, but yeah, he's an evil guy, dude. Billy Barr is evil. Look at that. That's awesome. All these diamonds down here. Right. Okay, what does it say next? Okay, today, Brian Schwartz of CNBC reported that Elon Musk and other tech executives are putting their money behind a social media ad campaign for Trump and Vance, and are creating targeted ads in swing states by collecting information about voters under false pretenses. So, in other words, keep going. According to Schwartz, their America PAC, or Political Action Committee, says it helps viewers register to vote, and, indeed, the ads direct would-be voters in non-swing states to voter registration sites. But people responding to the ad in swing states are not sent to registration sites. Instead, they are presented with a highly detailed personal information form and prompted to enter their address, cell phone number, and age, handing over priceless personal data to a political operation that can then create ads aimed at that person's demographic and target them personally in door-to-door campaigns. After getting the information, the site simply says, "Thank you," without directing the viewer toward registration sites. So, Elon Musk is going to do the same thing that the Russians did in 2016. Do you remember what the Russians did in 2016? So, there was all these campaign contacts between the Russian government and Trump officials, Trump campaign officials. A ton of these contacts. One of these contacts was between Paul Manafort and a guy, the Russian agent, Konstantin Klimnik. At that meeting, one of their meetings, Paul Manafort had with him a hard drive filled with detailed polling information, and they handed it off to the Russians via Konstantin Klimnik. That's one of the reasons why Paul Manafort went to prison. He was convicted and he went to prison because he was lying about what he was doing with the Russians. But then, after he was convicted and sent to prison, Donald Trump pardoned him. So Donald Trump pardoned his fellow conspirator in the operation. Anyways, what do you think the Russians did with that information that they got? They created highly so basically what Manafort did was the same thing here. He handed over priceless personal data to a foreign government, hostile foreign government, that can then create ads aimed at that person's demographic and target them personally in door-to-door campaigns. So Elon Musk is essentially recreating the Russian playbook from 2016. They know which they have like a super detailed map of which places that they want to influence, and they have a shit ton of money, so they don't have to rely on Cambridge Analytica to get this data. They can just steal it themselves and then use the techniques they learned from the Russians to wage a misinformation campaign on the voters of that state. In other words, to get out the vote for Trump voters and to confuse and misdirect Democratic voters for the purpose of changing the election. Like, it's evil, dude. Musk is an evil guy. I fucking hate Elon Musk. What a piece of shit. He uses his wealth and power not to make humanity better, but to enrich himself and to create more control. Fuck that guy. Fuck that guy. He's a weirdo, man. He's weird. I'm weird too, but, you know. I'm not trying to be president either. And I don't have unlimited power. Hey, JMDX. Okay. So we got two things going on here. We had Egypt. In 2016, Egypt gave Donald Trump $10 million. And in response, Donald Trump changed U.S. policy toward Egypt. That's one thing that we found. And then, what happened was the Trump's Attorney General, Billy Barr, killed the investigation. So, in other words, the Attorney General is supposed to be independent from the president. There's supposed to be a level of independence. The Attorney General. Like, what's his face? Who's the current Attorney General? Merrick Garland. Joe Biden can't say to Merrick Garland, I want you to go fucking investigate my political rivals. He can't do that. He cannot do that. Because the president only picks the Attorney General, but the Attorney General is not beholden to the president. The Attorney General, he or she, is to follow justice blindly, regardless of party affiliation. That's their responsibility. But funny. There's a whole other way over here. But Billy Barr did not act as the way an Attorney General should act. Instead, Billy Barr acted as if Donald Trump were his employer. And he acted not in this interest of justice, but in the interest of saving his boss. So to that end, Billy Barr killed the investigation that would have exposed that Donald Trump took a bribe from Egypt. Now you got to think, if Billy Barr would kill an investigation into whether or not Donald Trump received a bribe from Egypt, don't you think it seems reasonable that Billy Barr would also kill other investigations into Donald Trump, like the Russia investigation? That's exactly what Billy Barr did. As soon as he became the Attorney General, he killed the Russia investigation. He ordered Mueller to stop. That's exactly what he did. So we got that interesting tidbit, but then we combine it. We can combine it with the knowledge that the Supreme Court, the Donald Trump Supreme Court, already ruled that it was okay for politicians to take bribes if they take it before they get office. So the Supreme Court preemptively forgave Donald Trump for his bribery. Oh my God, it's so fucked up. It's so fucked up. So there's that one, right? Dude, I'm losing everyone who was following me, but that's okay. Dr. Richardson goes on to say, oh yeah, then we were talking about Elon Musk, right? Then we're talking about Elon Musk. And what's the deal with Elon Musk? Elon Musk, he's a billionaire. He makes a shit ton of money, and he has a lot of contracts with the American government, SpaceX and everything. Like, they should be spending that money on NASA, but for some reason they're subsidizing Elon Musk's businesses. And so Elon Musk is throwing himself into the political arena by spending massive amounts of money to elect Donald Trump. And the way he's doing it is he's emulating the Russian propaganda technique that worked in 2016. Holy shit. One more reason why we ought to make sure that billionaires do not exist. Because no one person should have the same power as an entire fucking nation state. Like, it took a nation state, like, of Russia in order to launch that kind of attack against the United States. Like, why should a private individual wield the same power as a nation state? Seems kind of sus. Alright, anyways. Forbes estimates Musk's wealth at more than $235 billion. In June, the Trump Organization announced a $500 million deal with the Saudi real estate developer Dar Global to build a Trump International Hotel in Oman. So in other words, Donald made a deal with the Saudis to open a business, a hotel, in Saudi Arabia. Wouldn't you kind of call that a bribe? Like, hey, Donald Trump, we're going to give you this opportunity to build a business building in our city, and in exchange, you're going to give us favorable foreign policy. Like, this is going to be an injection of money into your campaign, and in exchange, you're going to give us favorable foreign policy when you become president. Like, that's the same thing, dude. Donald Trump is doing this over and over and over again. It's fucking terrible. These are oligarchs that are trying to overthrow our government, overthrow our democracy, so that they can have more power and influence. Alright, let's continue. In January 2011, when he was director of the FBI, Robert... Oh, shit. Okay. In January of 2011, when he was director of the FBI, Robert Mueller gave a speech to the Citizens Crime Commission of New York. He explained that globalization and modern technology had changed the nature of organized crime. Rather than being regional networks with clear structure, he said organized crime had become international, fluid, and sophisticated, and had multi-billion-dollar stakes. Its operators were cross-pollinating across countries. Religions and political affiliations, sharing only their greed. They did not care about ideology. They cared about money. They would do anything for a price. These criminals, quote, may be former members of nation-state governments, security services, or the military, he said. They are capitalists and entrepreneurs, but they are also master criminals who move easily between the licit and illicit worlds. As in some cases, these organizations are as forward-leaning as Fortune 500 companies. In order to corner international markets, Mueller explained, these criminal enterprises may infiltrate our businesses. They may provide logistical support to hostile foreign powers. They may try to manipulate those at the highest levels of government. Indeed, these so-called iron triangles of organized criminals, corrupt government officials, and business leaders pose a significant national security threat. Wow, that's a lot of words. In a new book called Autocracy, okay, so I also heard about this. I first heard about this from Sarah Kendzior. Sarah Kendzior talks about Robert Mueller and his speech about the Iron Triangle, and she was pretty pissed off that Mueller failed to like go after Donald Trump sufficiently, that he tried to do it by the book, and he got without realizing that Billy Barr was part of it. Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna get lost in here, man. Don't keep going here. What are you doing? You are gonna get lost. I'm already lost. Yeah, I'm gonna get these diamonds. All right, we'll come back, I'm sure. So that's where I first heard about it. But now I'm hearing Dr. Richardson talk about it. So, like, pretty important to understand, right? Pretty important to understand what's going on. Okay. In a new book called Autocracy, the dictators who want to run the world, journalist Anne Applebaum carries that story forward into the present, examining how today's autocrats work together to undermine democracy. She says that the language of the democratic world, meaning rights, laws, rule of law, justice, accountability, and transparency, is harmful to them, especially as those are the words that their internal opposition uses. And so they need to undermine the people who use it and, if they can, discredit it. Those people, Applebaum says, believe they are owed power. They deserve power. When they lose elections, they come back in a second term and say, right, this time I'm not going to make that mistake again, then change their electoral system. Or change the Constitution, change the judicial system, in order to make sure that they never lose. Almost exactly a year ago, on August 1st, 2023, a grand jury in Washington, D.C. indicted former President Donald J. Trump for conspiring to defraud the United States, conspiring to disenfranchise voters, and conspiring to and attempting to obstruct an official proceeding. The charges stemmed from Trump's attempt to overturn the results of the 2020 election. A grand jury is made up of 23 ordinary citizens who weigh evidence of criminal activity and produce an indictment if 12 or more of them vote in favor. Okay, that's good to know. So, 1 year ago, so we learned about the Iron Triangle of criminality. how it relies on corrupt government officials to thrive. Then we see how Donald Trump himself is one of these people that we're talking about. They're the ones who are corrupt and trying to overthrow the government of the United States. And their enemies are democracy and the truth. So, yeah, and then there's just more evidence that Donald Trump is one of them. Remember, he tried to overthrow the government. He made this huge conspiracy to try and overthrow the government so he could hold on to power. All right, I'm not gonna check this out now. So when we're talking about Donald Trump, we're talking about the people in the Iron Triangle. What Robert Mueller was talking about in the organized crime. Donald Trump is a fucking mob boss. You got to understand that. That's what he's about. He's a mob boss. Okay. Each of these conspiracies, so Dr. Heather Richardson continues, each of these conspiracies, the indictment reads, targeted a bedrock function of the United States federal government, the nation's processing of collecting, counting, and certifying the results of the presidential election. This federal government function is foundational to the United States democratic process and, until 2021, had operated in a peaceful and orderly manner for more than 130 years. The case of the United States of America versus Donald J. Trump was randomly assigned to Judge Tanya S. Chutkan, who was appointed by President Obama in 2014 and confirmed 95-0 in the Senate. Trump pleaded not guilty on August 3rd, after which his lawyers repeatedly delayed their pretrial motions until, on December 7th, Trump asked the Washington, D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals to decide whether he was immune from prosecution. Chutkan had to put off her initial trial date of March 4th, 2024, and said she would not reschedule until the court decided the question of Trump's immunity. In February, the appeals court decided he was not immune. Trump appealed to the Supreme Court, which waited until July 1st, 2024 to decide that Trump enjoys broad immunity from the prosecution for crimes committed as part of his official acts. Today, the Washington, D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals sent the case back to Chutkan, almost exactly a year after it was first brought. So remember that Donald Trump, his primary goal is to delay the trial, delay justice, until he can try to overthrow the government again. Like the trial can never go to trial for Donald Trump, because if it ever goes to trial, he's going to be found guilty and be sent to prison. So Donald Trump's number one goal is to never go to trial. Because he's a crime boss. That's what he is. He's a crime boss. He's a mob boss. So I think, Dr. Heather Richardson articulates a lot better than I do about what's going on. This election is whether or not a mob boss takes control of the United States. a mob boss who corrupted the process of justice so that he can continue criming. Like, the stakes are pretty high. Why do you think I've been doing a show every week for years now? Why? Why do you think I do that? It's because the stakes are incredibly high. And we're literally fighting mob bosses and Nazis. And the way they work is they demoralize you. They demoralize you into giving up on the ideals that we're based upon. So they want you to give up on yourself. Which you should never do. Never give up on yourself. But that's how they work. That's how they operate. Is they can't abide by truth. They can't abide by justice. They can't do it because it's it's against what they are. If you're an oligarch, the only measure of that you want the world to work by is power. Why would an oligarch only want to go by power? Because he's the one that has the most. And he sets up systems where he can get more of it and concentrate the power into his own hands or her hands. Like, that's what they're about. Democracy is exactly the opposite of what they are. It on purpose dilutes the power into the people so that no one thing has the most. So, if Donald Trump fails to take power in 2024 or 2025, he's going to go to prison. Like, he has judges, like his judge in Florida, I think is played out. His judge in Florida, so the judge that was in Florida was by the name of Cannon, Eileen Cannon. And she was appointed to be a judge after Donald Trump had already lost the election. And just like how Billy Barr doesn't actually serve justice, he serves Donald Trump, Eileen Cannon was the same way. She doesn't actually serve justice, she serves Donald Trump. So she delayed the case for as long as she could before outright dismissing it. And she broke a bunch of precedent in order to dismiss it. And she never, and there was like half a dozen rulings that she had to rule on, but she delayed it so long that she never ruled on it before she dismissed the case. But the goal was never to finish the trial. The goal was to delay the case until after the election, when Donald Trump could seize power. That was the whole point. So, if Donald Trump doesn't take power in 2024 or 2025, that case is probably going to be reassigned to a different judge. A judge that isn't working for Donald Trump. So, this really is do or die for Donald Trump. He cannot be like Biden. Biden can just retire and like enjoy life, right? Biden's like, yeah, you're right, I'm done, I'm finished. I'm too old, you're right. Donald Trump is too old too, right? But he cannot retire. He can't do it. The moment, if he tries to retire, all the bad things that he's been pushing off are going to come back to him. Holy shit. Wow. Ah! Look at this giant cave, dude. Wow, nice. Dum 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 dum. Alright, I'll come back to this. I would have to stop doing my show and to explore this cave. I mean, like, If you want to watch me play Minecraft, watch me any other time. Because I'm playing Minecraft. But, like, this is my show. This is what I'm talking about, stuff going down. Okay, so, the latest story is that, Donald Trump is pretending not to know that Kamala Harris is biracial. He's pretending not to know that. How come I'm saying he's pretending not to know? Because he's doing it to signal that he's racist. So, as we all know, right? As we already know, if you have one of your parents to be Indian and another of your other parent is Jamaican, then Kamala Harris comes out. She is both Indian and Jamaican. Jamaican in the United States is black. She has two cultures. She is biracial. She is both black and Indonesian at the same time. Do you understand? Do you get it? I'm sure Donald Trump gets it because his own vice president, J.D. Vance, is also married to an Indian woman. So then you gotta think. Then what does that make the kids of J.D. Vance? What does that make his kids? Because his kids are biracial too. Right. They're whatever ethnicity is J.D. Vance, and they're Indian. Is J.D. Vance saying that or is Donald Trump saying that J.D. Vance kids aren't real? They don't exist? So he's doing it just to be a racist. He's signaling to his people, hey guys, I'm a racist like you. Because that's what he's about. That's what they're about. Look at all those fun stuff I can come back to if I ever need to. The treasures galore. Okay, what else do I got here? Okay, so one of the things that's going on at the Trump rallies. I mean, basically, Trump rallies are big white supremacist rallies. That's what they are. Oh no, at the convention. This is at the RNC convention. So this is what the Republican Party is about. This is it's their big convention. It's what they're about. And at their convention, someone took the time to print up these signs. And what are they? A bunch of people holding this sign up. What does the sign say? Mass deportations now. So it's a bunch of white people. It's a bunch of white people holding up signs saying mass deportation now. What does that mean? What are they talking about? Well, if you talk to them, they'll say, "Oh, we only mean the bad Latinos. We're not talking about the good Latinos. We're talking about the bad Latinos." But like, do you really trust them? Do you really trust them? Remember the last time they did that? Maybe you don't. Let me refresh your memory. This is a picture. This is a picture of the Japanese Americans. This is not a picture of Nazi Germany. This is not a picture of a POW camp. This is not a picture of the Japanese invading China. This is a picture of the United States rounding up American citizens. The United States, these are Japanese Americans. They're American who happen to be Japanese. And the United States rounded them all up and put them into concentration camps. They basically imprisoned them, put them in a concentration camp, an internment camp, but it's a concentration camp. And all their property, if they had a house, if they had a farm, if they had a business, all that property, they couldn't keep it up, right? Because like they're getting like locked away. They were getting rounded up and locked away. All their property, their businesses, their houses, their farms, all of it got auctioned off. And who do you think won those auctions? Do you think it was Latinos and Black Americans and Chinese people who won the auctions? No, it was white people who won the auctions. And they got to buy Japanese American property. They get to buy it for real cheap. That actually happened. It's not like I'm making it up. That actually happened. In World War II, the American government rounded up all the Japanese Americans, took their shit, and sold it off to auctions. And then while the Japanese Americans were all like kept in a concentration camp. So America has already done this. They have already done this. It's already happened. Do you think these people, do you think they care if a Latino is legal or not? Do you think they care if you're an American citizen? They don't fucking care. They don't care. I get shit all the time because my last name is Gonzalez. All the time I get shit. And I'm not even biologically Latino. I was adopted by my Mexican dad. But I get shit all the time from racists because of my last name. It has nothing to do with, like, racism has nothing to do with facts. They will fuck you up for whatever reason. They don't even need a reason. They'll just do it. So don't think, Latinos, don't think that just because you're legal, just because you're a citizen, that they're not going to come after you. Because the Japanese Americans had the same idea. Oh, they're not going to come after me. I'm a good American. I'm a loyal American. Like I was born here in this country. Why would they come after me? Didn't matter, dude. The Japanese Americans got rounded up and put into prison, and all their stuff was stolen from them. So it will happen to you, Latinos. If you let these guys, these fascists, come into power, it will happen to you. It might even happen to me. Like, do you think they care about birth certificates? Look at the shit they gave Obama. They don't care about your birth certificate. They don't care about your status. They don't care. They're racist. It's not logical. It's not reasonable. It's all about power, right? That's what they worship. That's what I'm trying to get you to see also, is that, like, people claim to be Christian, but yet firmly believe in stuff that Jesus never talked about. So that makes me wonder, well then, who's your Messiah? Who's your teacher if not Jesus? Because Jesus never said anything about this, and yet you're ready to kill people over it. Now, who's your teacher? It's not Jesus. So, I think we need to clarify something. It's like been purposely kept ambiguous. But I think now, at this juncture, it would be a good time to make clear, to illuminate some things going on in our society. The latest craze, it used to be woke, right? It used to be woke. Like, woke. And then you're like, well, what does woke mean? And they would never define it. Republicans would never define it. So, because woke to them means different than what woke means to, like, a minority. So, what does woke mean? It depends on who you're asking. But now, the latest one is DEI. DEI. A lot of white supremacists are using the word DEI now. The phrase, DEI. And then you got to figure out, well, what do they mean when they say DEI? What do white supremacists mean when white supremacists say DEI? When they say a person's a DEI hire, what does that mean? What are they talking about? Well, we can listen to the words of a Nazi and have the Nazi explain it. That's probably the best way you're going to get it, is if you ask a Nazi. But you can't just ask a Nazi, because the Nazi is going to change their answer depending on who they're talking to. Like, if a liberal or a leftist asks a Nazi to define DEI, they won't do it. They won't do it. Because they know that, because the truth is their enemy. Fascists hate the truth. So they won't define DEI. But if you can get a Nazi to talk to another Nazi so that it's two Nazis talking to each other, well then, now they have a shared set of assumptions, and it's their safe place. Their safe place. They can talk freely amongst other Nazis. So when I say let's ask a Nazi, you can't just ask a Nazi. You have to ask them, you have to put them in their safe place so they answer truthfully. So let's find out, right? This is Sebastian Gorka, who's an infamous Nazi and a supporter of Donald Trump. You can ask Sebastian Gorka, what does he think is a DEI hire?
Disaster, whose only qualification was having a vagina and the right skin color.
So that's what he means, having a vagina and the right skin color. When they say DEI hire, say that again, Sebastian Gorka. Say that again.
Disaster, whose only qualification was having a vagina and the right skin color.
So for DEI hires, Nazis believe that the only qualification for a DEI hire is to have the right genitalia and the right skin color. That's what they think. Like, when you look at the word DEI, what it stands for is diversity, equity, and inclusion. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. That's what we mean when we say DEI. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. You want diverse. You want it to be fair, equitable. And you want to include as many people as possible. Inclusive. That's what we mean when we say DEI. But when they say DEI, they don't mean that. When Sebastian Gorka and the Nazis say DEI, when they say it, they mean people with the right skin color and the right genitalia. So they're not talking about DEI. What they're talking about is something that they're into, their deal, which is HIE. The Nazis are into HIE. Like, so for example, how you would use it. Donald Trump is an HIE hire. What does HIE mean? H is for homogeneous. Homogeneous. So it's the opposite. The word homogeneous is opposite of the word diverse. Diversity means many parts that are not the same. Many parts that are not the same. That's diverse. When you have many things that are not the same, that are different from one another, that's diversity. But Donald Trump is not about diversity. What they're about is homogeneous. Homogeneity. They want things to be the same. They want things to be the same. So traditionally, in Western society, traditionally, power has been held by men. So in order to keep things the same, the person who is working, who's an HIE hire, in order to keep things the same, it's really important they have the right genitalia, right? They have to have the right genitalia. In this instance, you have to have a penis in order to be an HIE hire. And Donald Trump has a penis. That's very important, right? He could not hold power if he doesn't have a penis. So Donald Trump has the right genitalia. Also, in the United States, with the exception of one person, all the people who held power were white. So, in order to keep things the same, you have to make sure that Donald Trump is the right color. And yeah, he puts on orange makeup. Sure, he puts on orange makeup to look orange, but he's actually white. Donald Trump is white. So, he's the right color, and he has the right he has a penis. So, he has the right genitalia for their group, for the Nazi group, right? We're talking about the Nazis because Nazis are totally opposite from Democrats with a small d. People who want democracy. They're totally opposite, right? You have to understand they're exactly opposite of us. So in order to hold power in their group, you have to have the right skin color and the right genitalia. And that skin color is white, and that genitalia is a penis. That's how they work. You have to have a penis, and you have to be white in order to hold power in the Republican Party. And look, Donald Trump satisfies both those conditions. That's all you need in order to hold power in the Republican Party. Now, that's not the same when you look at the Democratic Party. When you look at the Democratic Party, you look at who's their representatives, who's the ones that hold power. It's pretty diverse, right? It's diverse. It's not the same. And then the last, so Donald Trump's. Let me finish the HIE hire. So Donald Trump's deal is also inequitable. It's not fair. The whole point is to not be fair. So equitable. Equitable means fair, fairness. That fairness exists. That justice exists. That's equitable. But Donald Trump is the opposite of that. They're inequitable. You know that word, inequitable? Hold on. I can't remember it right now. The famous monologue. Right? You know that word inequitable? You know that word. You already know that word. I guarantee it. Right? Let me remind you how you know this word. The path of the righteous man is beset on all sides by the inequities of the selfish and the tyranny of evil men. Let me say that again. The path of the righteous man is beset on all sides by the inequities of the selfish and the tyranny of evil men. Inequities. The inequities of the selfish. So Donald Trump's whole party, the Republican Party, is about homogeneity, the sameness. It's about the sameness, and it's also about inequity. The inequities of the selfish and the tyranny of evil men. Donald Trump was an evil man. Vladimir Putin is an evil man. So you know this word, inequities, already. Blessed is he who, in the name of charity and goodwill, shepherds the weak through the valley of darkness, for he is truly his brother's keeper and the finder of lost children. And I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger those who attempt to poison and destroy my brothers. And you will know my name is the Lord when I lay my vengeance upon thee. You already know these words. So Donald Trump is an HIE hire. He's the right skin color. He's the right he has the right genitalia, and he's like basically a bad guy. He breaks all the laws all the time. So he is the embodiment of inequity. He's an avatar of inequity, Donald Trump. And then finally, exclusive. As opposed to inclusive. Inclusive wants everyone involved, everyone together, everyone to have power. Inclusivity, it makes everyone have a stake in what's going on. Exclusivity means only a small group of elite. It's exclusive. The power is held exclusively by the elite. The club is small, and you're not in it. But Donald Trump is in it, and Elon Musk is in it, and Vladimir Putin is in it, and Kim Jong-un is in it. Yeah. So, understand that Donald Trump is an HIE hire. He was chosen to be the Republican leader because he's homogenous. He's like the past. He's unfair. he's a billionaire who got his wealth, and billionaires by definition are unfair. I mean, maybe there's a fair way you can accrue $1 billion, but I don't know how. Let alone hundreds of billions of dollars. And it's exclusive. It's a small club and you're not in it. So yeah, that hopefully will clear things up. Whenever you hear someone complain of DEI, that's because they're part of HIE. You have two teams, the DEI and the HIE, and they're not compatible. Neither team can work with the other team because their basic fundamental values are opposite. Basic fundamental values opposite. Hour and a half. I should probably keep going here. Man, I'm lost. There we go. There we go. Comics. Donald Trump refuses to debate Kamala Harris now. He's backing out. So, but we all knew Donald Trump was a coward. We already knew that. Israel still committing genocide in Gaza. The World Court, I don't know if they determined it was genocide or not, but they knew it was an illegal occupation. I don't think Biden has any power over Bibi Netanyahu. Like, he's kind of, it sounds like he's locked into giving him weapons. Like it's already a done deal. Because the United States needs that base there. I don't know why. Israel represents like the old way of what America used to be. Why would you want to continue it? We're not like that anymore, dudes. We don't do genocide anymore. Why would you support a country doing genocide in our name? That's terrible. I mean, Biden could do the greatest thing right now since he's not going for re-election. He could just like be like, "Fuck you, Netanyahu," and like start supplying the Palestinians with defensive weapons. I mean, they don't have an army, dude. How are you gonna supply them with defensive weapons? They have nothing. The Palestinian people have nothing. It's because Israel's trying to, like, take their land. So, hopefully, the new administration, the Harris administration, does take some concrete steps. Because the Israeli government already voted to oppose a two-state solution. They are absolutely not on board with two states. They absolutely want to cleanse the Palestinians off their land, kill them, and take their land, genocide. So, if you go Donald Trump, he for sure is going to continue the genocide. I don't know what's going to happen with Harris. I don't know. All I can do is tell you what I know. Just one glob of iron? Come on. 2 globs of iron just sitting there doing nothing. I guess so. Yeah, Americans, this is a huge election. Like, I keep saying it, and it seems to be bigger every year. Donald Trump is for sure a criminal, and he's corrupted multiple institutions in the United States. So it's up to us. It's up to us. We got to take control. Gotta take control. Alright, I think that'll do it for me. Check my show, like my other random show on my YouTube channel. Like, I'm doing a Let's Play where I just play Minecraft. And, yeah, it's interesting to see where all this stuff goes. Okay, until next time, Pagokuro out. Peace! Stop. Stop. Stop.